Hi, my name is Gary Williams. I'm Director of Corporate Communications, and welcome to our podcast. Today I'm joined by Simon Gill, the Director of Economic Development and Tourism at the region, and we're happy to be here at Starapples on location in Bowmanville.
Hey everyone.
So Simon, we're here to talk about economic development, obviously, and really what I want to talk about is I want you to kind of walk me through this crazy time we're going through, and especially for you in economic development in the region. Let's go back to March. Maybe a lot of people don't want to go back to March, but let's start in March. You're the Director of Economic Development, and you have this pandemic breakout. The first time anybody ever has experienced something like this, where the economy just shuts down, and we're having to shut down businesses, and obviously the opposite of what you're trying to do, because you're trying to help us grow business in the region. How did you feel at that time, and what were you thinking as far as next steps?
Yeah, it's funny thinking back to March. It was such a crazy time because things were changing, not even on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. You'd get a new announcement in the morning, and then there'd be a new announcement in the afternoon. Something else is shutting down. Something else is being restricted. And so, it was about March 12th, actually. I remember the day, because we realized this was actually going to be a major economic crisis, as it would be, of course, a health crisis, and something needed to be done. So right away, the team, the Economic Development and Tourism team at the region, came together, brainstormed some ideas on what we needed to do, and right away we figured, first thing we absolutely have to do is get on a call with all of the region's chambers of commerce and boards of trade, the business improvement areas, the BIAs, our small business advisory center, and all of the area municipalities, the economic development teams at all the area municipalities, and talk about what we need to do. So we got on a call, same day, everyone had a big conference call. It was a bit shocking, just all of us talking about all the impacts that we were seeing in the business community. And it was, so that was step one, was setting up the call, just figuring out an action plan.
So from there, you got an action plan, and obviously, like you said, something totally new for you to deal with in your entire career, and something new for the region to deal with. Where did you take it from there? So walk us through those months of April, May, where you're just creating that plan, you're working with all the BIAs and all your partners, and then working with businesses. Like we're here at Starapples, right downtown Bowmanville, a great restaurant. Yeah. I'm sure you felt for them, like we all did, struggling. They had to shut their doors completely and try to survive in some aspect. What did you do from April to May to June to kind of get through that and really help support our small businesses?
First thing we did to make sure we were giving the right kind of support was we put out a couple of surveys to the business community, to owners, operators of small restaurants, retailers. How are you being impacted? What help do you need? In what capacity can we help you? And we heard loud and clear, they want, all of the small businesses that were impacted wanted access to information on the financial support programs that were available, resources to help them deal with issues with their business, with customer confidence, with mental health in the workplace. They wanted webinars. They wanted a single point of resource, and so we, through the task force that we formed with all of those people, we created all those resources. So we set up a business portal, investdurham.ca/COVID response. We started organizing and delivering webinars with content for the small businesses. We set up a PPE marketplace. So personal protection equipment was a huge thing back when we moved to phase 2. And small businesses really didn't know where to go to get masks and plexiglass barriers and all that. But we were making those right here in Durham Region. Some of our small businesses had retooled and were making hand sanitizer, like All or Nothing Brewery. So we got a PPE marketplace set up right away so that businesses that were restarting in Durham Region could support local at the same time and go buy their PPE locally. As we started getting into phase 2, we recognized that these patios, like we're sitting on today, were going to be absolutely critical for the food service industry, because without phase 3, you couldn't go inside, you couldn't dine in. It was all takeout, all no contact delivery or curbside pickup. So we were promoting all the businesses doing that, but we knew that we needed to make it easier for businesses to be able to get patios set up really quickly, which was a major effort. So all of the area municipalities on the task force, they each took their own process and their own streamlined approach to getting patio spaces set up. We supported it at the regional level, and at last count we have, I think, 116 new patios that came up as a result of some of these streamlined processes and some of the, the quick pivots that these restaurants had to make.
Well, you talk about quick pivots, and I'm sure you've been working here for a while. You're not really surprised with how innovative and how quickly these small businesses reacted to the situation. Tell me about that. Why is Durham Region different in that respect, where you have these small businesses and just the drive and the passion and the innovation you mentioned, that they can just do this with not a lot of turnaround time and survive and start to thrive and start to get back to some sort of normalcy. Yeah. Talk about that. Why is it different here?
Well, and don't get me wrong, and make no mistake, the small businesses are still hurting. Mm-hmm. Consumer confidence is a big issue, especially for small retail, restaurants. But all of the small businesses have been extremely innovative. Like All or Nothing Brewery, as soon as this hit, they realized they had brewing capacity where they could instantly change gears and brew hand sanitizer. They did that basically overnight, and then all the others, Sunspace, right here in Clarington, I think, is completely retooling to create plexiglass barriers for counter spaces and all the rest of it. And Durham Region has, a lot of innovation here, naturally homegrown. We've got the Ontario Tech University, we've got Durham College, and we've got a huge, huge history of innovating to solve big problems. It started over 100 years ago with the McLaughlin family innovating for personal mobility. And it's still happening today in that same linear business, where you have things like the AV test track getting built right here in Oshawa, innovating to solve big problems. And the small business community of Durham is no different. They're just as innovative and just as strong. So it's been really great.
So you mentioned, obviously, small businesses and businesses in Durham are still hurting, obviously. And we're just still in the beginning stages of stage 3. Where do you see this going? And I know it's hard to predict what's going to happen next, because there's been talk of the second wave, and no one really can say for sure what's going to happen. Yeah. What do you see for the future of the recovery process in small businesses and the economic prosperity of our region? Where do you see that going in the next 3-6 months?
Well, so the biggest thing for small business is just being aware of the health requirements on customers. So when you're traveling into buildings, put your mask on, reduce the spread, reduce the risk of transmission, and go support your local small business, because they're still offering the same awesome, great products that they were before. And they definitely need your help now. And with the Durham Economic Task Force, where we see being able to help going forward is helping small businesses transition to more digital forms of business, like online e-commerce, digital marketing that they may not have had capacity for before. So we're supporting the Small Business Advisory Center to ramp up services there. We've got a great e-commerce project we're working on with the BIAs. And with the medium and larger size companies, we're working on strategies to help them with diversifying their value chain and getting a little bit more resilient as trade still continues to get disrupted internationally. So,
talk a little bit more about the Economic Development Task Force, because they've done an incredible job on helping small business and the economy start to get back to some sort of success. So talk a little bit about them, and why do you think that approach has been so successful?
Yeah, well, the Durham Economic Task Force, I think, is really the reason why we were able to put together such a comprehensive response to the crisis. The Chambers of Commerce, Boards of Trade, the BIAs, Small Business Advisory Center, and all of the area municipalities, the economic development teams at all the area municipalities, we meet regularly. It started as weekly, now we're doing bi-weekly. But having everyone communicating consistently all of the key information that businesses need, collaborating on projects to help companies get access to training and materials that they need right away, access to legal help for free, access to all of the provincial and federal funding programs that are available. It was the first time, as I understand it, in the entire history of the region of Durham that all of those groups were working together in harmony with a single purpose, which was helping our businesses get through it. And we're continuing to meet and work for the business community, and I'm hoping and optimistic that we're going to continue to be able to do that long after we all get through this crisis, that it's such a powerful tool for collaboration, tapping into the post-secondaries and our innovation community like 1855 Whitby and the Spark Center, Durham Workforce Authority. As we start to work together more on delivering the type of coordinated programming that businesses need, I think the stronger we'll be.
Awesome. So let's switch gears for a second. We're going to invite the owner of Starapples to join us.
Yeah, and let's get some jerk poutine too.
Absolutely.
Because I hear it is awesome.
100%, yes.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you today?
Great.
Good.
I guess I can remove now that I'm outside.
Yes.
Absolutely. So Chrissy, thank you for joining us, and thank you for allowing us to come to your restaurant.
No
We're really excited to be
all.
here. We're talking about, the whole last 4 months and COVID, and we want to chat about you and your business and just how things have evolved and some of the challenges you went through. So why don't you take us back to March when this all started? As a small business owner, as a restaurant, being forced to close, what were you feeling at that time? What were you thinking?
Well, fortunate for us, we actually didn't close because we're a family-run restaurant. We're all from the same household. We didn't have to worry about social distancing and not mixing with other families. What we did was we dropped down to a skeleton crew. So it was myself and my dad that first month by ourselves. And because with the pandemic and everyone stocking up from the grocery store, not many people were doing takeout, and obviously they weren't allowed to dine in. We were able to manage just the two of us, him doing all the cooking and then me taking orders. And one of the things that really helped us was we introduced our own delivery service in addition to Skip the Dishes and Uber Eats. So I would take a call. Oh, you want delivery? Okay, I'll be like, Dad, I'm running out. Do the delivery, pop back in. He would man the phone and the kitchen at the same time. So it was a bit of a tandem that we had going on. And it worked out for us, thankfully. That first month, my brother just came back from the States because he goes to school over there. So he was in quarantine. And then as soon as his 2 weeks were up, he was my extra driver, and then that really helped a lot.
That's great. So there's been some challenge, and we were just talking about, the innovation and just the passion, businesses in Durham have. And that's just a great example of how you kind of pivoted and made things work. Maybe bring us up to speed on how you're doing now. And, we're in stage 3. What do you see as a small business owner as far as the future? As much as that's hard to predict on what's going to happen, how are you guys doing? How are you, growing and trying to get back to some sort of normalcy?
Yeah, definitely that's a bit of a challenge right now with phase 3 because you're not allowed to hold your full capacity inside. As well, it's 50-50 on who's comfortable dining inside. And also the weather's really nice, so everyone's still using the patio as their first choice for dining option, so that's fine. But I'm a little bit concerned with summer wrapping up now and what's it going to be like dining inside. For us as a Jamaican restaurant, pulling diners, it was a bit of a challenge just because everyone's initial response to Jamaican restaurant isn't that it's a dining establishment. So even having diners prior to COVID was a little bit of a challenge. We got most of our customers dining in on our live music nights. So now with live music being restricted, no dancing or singing inside, no karaoke, and your performer has to be behind a barrier per se. That's what we're looking at now. How's that going to look moving forward with the colder months coming ahead? Because yeah, you could get heat lamps outside, but that's only going to last so long. So right now it's just trying to focus on how we can draw the crowd into the dining room and keep it fresh and fun and interesting. And yeah, we're just probably going to try and bring some of the outside elements inside to bring that tropical vibe inside, and hopefully that will pick up and take off, and we'll go from there, right?
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now you were mentioning that you participated in a Durham business video.
Yes.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
I can't really remember the details of it, but basically it was a spotlight on local businesses. And so what they did is they chose a business from each town. From Ajax, I think they went up to Peterborough, maybe further. They actually did 2 here in Bowmanville, so it was us and the Toasted Walnuts. And they came in, they did some shots, took some food shots as well as beverage, and then they kind of just all spliced it together. It was basically all the businesses coming together, talking about the impacts of COVID and thanking the community for their support, because really and truly, if it wasn't for the community support, we'd probably have to close our doors, much like a lot of other businesses have. So that's really what it was, bringing awareness to the local businesses and just showcasing some spots that you might not have thought of in the first place.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
No, this has been great. I know being a local resident here, I've been here already for takeout a couple times. It's been fantastic. I love that jerk poutine, so
Nice.
I'm looking forward to some of that.
Today.
I think that's our next step, right?
That's our next step,
To sample
exactly.
some of the cuisine.
You got it.
We're really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for allowing us to be on your patio.
No problem. Thank
And
you for having me.
yeah, we're really happy you guys are doing better, and we're here to support you. And thanks for telling your story.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kristen.
That's
Thank you.
Aha.
it. Guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Looks amazing.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So
Thanks. All
our
right.
food is here. That's kind of a cue to finish this up. So thanks for joining us. And just a reminder, support local business, support your patio, support these restaurants, and they make great food. So we're going to enjoy. Thanks for joining us, Simon.
Thanks for having me. It's been
Excellent.
a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.